All right, guys. So, bangers and mash, red onion gravy. So, we're gonna get our water heated up first. We're gonna get this pan going. First things first, we have to peel some potatoes. So I got call it really about 4 potatoes. It's 6, but some of these are smaller. So I'm just gonna peel these guys real quick here. Okay, go ahead. Mason jar. Yeah, probably. Okay, so I was just peeling off some of these bad spots here. There we go. It's good. Actually, I'm gonna turn this water off. We're just gonna put the water here. Make sure they don't brown while I peel the rest of this. I'll get fresh water after I do that. Because we don't want it to cook it with the starch, because what happens is it just gets it all gummy and kind of gross. So, I mean, not that it's like unedible, but it's definitely not ideal. So as you can imagine, bangers and mash is pretty easy, self-explanatory, if you would. Just realized I never filtered or strained my yogurt, so using full yogurt at full strength. Should have really just done these. I don't know why I made you guys watch me peel potatoes. Like, why didn't I not just peel these earlier? I'm pretty sure everybody knows how to peel potatoes. You know what? There's probably somebody out there who doesn't know how to peel potatoes, though. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who know how to peel potatoes. I think we can all get to the same place on our own. So, yeah, I don't know why I made you guys watch this. I'll do this kind of ahead of time in the future, because there's just no real need for it. In fact, I might do more food prep in the future. That way, it's just a real video is an hour long for mashed potato sausage, and we can skip ahead, and I can play a game instead of you guys watching me do. So we learned about bangers and mash when we worked at a English restaurant in Chicago. The owner, chef there, he very, very English. And this was one of the first dishes we ever had on the menu. And it was not an English pub either. It was actually a, I don't know what you would call it, a breakfast place, but some stuff from back home, and this being one of them, is along with shepherd's pie and things like that. And he insisted on using Bisto gravy, which, if you don't know, which you shouldn't unless you're probably from the UK, is a fish pellet looking gravy mix. It's the best way I could put it. It's an instant gravy mix that's like made of these little like fish food looking pellet things. And it is exactly as it sounds. It's nothing special. It's probably not as disgusting as it sounds, though. It was fine, but it doesn't compare to like real gravy and like using actual stock and things. I mean, spilled water all over the place. Try and get some of this up. So, anyway, that's what he insisted on. We are going to go our own route today, make our own destiny. And we're going to do real gravy with real meat stock. So, as I've mentioned before, whenever you're cooking a vegetable, you want to think about the way to remember how you cook it is if it grew below ground, you want to start the water cold. If it grew above ground, you want to start the water hot. Hopefully I don't have to explain to anybody on this channel that potatoes grow underground. But they do, so we're starting them in cold water. I am dicing them for 2 reasons. One, they will cook faster and more uniform. Also, because obviously potatoes don't grow in uniform shapes. But they will also cook faster, and they will be easier to put through the food mill. So that is why we are cutting our potatoes. You could leave them whole if you want them to take longer and not cook as consistently. So I suggest against that. So let's just cut these guys up here real quick. This knife is so sharp. I just sharpened my knives the other day, and my God, like, it's amazing. I love a sharp knife. It's like a clean bed sheets. There's just nothing better. Like, it's the little things in life, you know? Clean bed sheets, sharp knives. I'm a happy man. All right. So, all right, there we go. We're going to season our water. We'd like to have the potatoes fully seasoned before we actually mash them. Oh, I'm out of salt. So that way we don't have to adjust the seasoning. It really, there's something about well-seasoned potatoes before mashing them. It does make a difference. I don't know why, but they taste differently. It just tastes better. It tastes like you know what you're doing. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. So, all right. Just checking my stream, making sure it's actually working. All right, so what we're gonna start with here, what are we gonna start with? You wanna do the sausage gravy first? Let me turn this down, that's too hot. Well, here, we'll cut our onions to start with. So we're gonna caramelize, yeah, let's do that. We're gonna caramelize these red onions. I'm gonna turn my oven on as a holding oven, so 170. That's gonna hold. These caramelized down. So we're gonna cut these French cut, so that's where we take off the root bit here, just like that. No root bit. And then we're gonna slice them. So our slices look like this. That's the way the slice is looking, about that thick. So we're gonna do that to this whole onion. A little piece of onion skin. All right. Go. Let's get some oil in here. I know usually I use butter, which I was thinking about doing, but I'll be honest, it's a little cold. I didn't feel like heating it up again. So I'll put it over here so it warms. I'll probably want to use it later. All right, so get our onions in. I'm just going to use tongue. And with everything, we always want to season once we start cooking. There's very few instances where you don't want to season when you start sauteing or caramelizing or sweating. So this is not one of them. Let's just let that cook. All right, while that cooks, the veggies for our Brussels sprouts. So we're gonna slice up some garlic and about probably half an onion here. I don't think I have more partial onion. I think I used it all, right? Okay, did. Okay. Let's just take these skins off here real quick. Remember, a light touch and the skin comes right off. You don't have to smash the garlic. Just a light little touch. There we go. It's coming. This one's a little stubborn, but it's coming. There it goes. Alright. Cut off any nasty bits that you don't like. Get rid of all that. It was a little hot, so the onion's cooking a bit faster than I intended, but that's okay. The onion could have been cut a little bit more uniformly. So we're just going to slice the garlic. Just like that. Now we're going to take half an onion, like I said. Let's get rid of that. I don't need any of that stuff. Ooh. I just touched the pan with my pinky. Alright, so I almost never dice onion, but for this, I'm feeling I want it diced. I think it'll do better with the Brussels sprouts. So, because I'm dicing it, I left the root bit on the onion. I'll show you here. So the root's on the onion there, see that? And now we're going to do, because I want it to look kind of nice, I'm going to do, again, a French cut here. So whenever we're dicing something, we want to get it to julienne size, right? Well, julienne's like a matchstick or whatever. So we have to make this into matchsticks. So what we're going to do is we're going to make cuts here, all the way up, and then we're going to make cuts this way, and then finally we're going to finish the dice by going this way. So we make our juliennes by cutting here, 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 and then we have juliennes, right? And then we cut that way, we have our dice. Now the key here is to not cut through the root. The root is what's going to hold it all together so that we can make these dices and juliennes nicely. Now, it is very important to have a very sharp knife when doing this because it is a pain without one. It's a pain with one. So, at the base, and use the curvature of the knife to cut through it. More surface area at the curve, so it cuts faster, cleaner, and easier. So, right there. And then you can, if it's really tight, you can just work your way through. So kind of like what I'm doing. I was just kind of working my way through it. But you should be able to through. And you see how I don't want to cut all the way through. I'm just going most of the way. So, see, we still have the onion holds together, so we're halfway to our julienne. Now, we're just going to cut this way, and we're not cutting all the way through. We're wanting to make sure it all stays intact, all right? I'm trying not to use force. I'm trying to use, again, more of a slicing motion than anything. Now, unfortunately, at this point, your onion does start to fall apart. That is just part of the dicing process. But for the most part, we now have juliennes. Now, we make them our nice, pretty dices. Oh, see, I cut too far on that one. And then when we get to the part where it's not cut all the way through, we cut it off, we finish it, and we finish this end piece by, again, we're just trying to get them as close to julienne shapes as possible. Then once they're juliennes, we dice them. So this is what your diced onion should look like. It's a lot more work than the fast way I've shown in the past, but it does look nice. It cooks nicely. It's fairly unnecessary. But what are you going to do? So these are starting to brown just a little. Brown is not caramelized, so caramelized is almost until you think you've burnt it. Not really, but most people think caramelized onions, and really they're just sauteed them. So let's get onion and garlic into a container for later. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I have washed all these veggies, except for the onion and garlic, but like these Brussels sprouts have been washed. So we're not going to, which I always do, and then we're just going to cut them right in half. Just like that. Alright? That's all we're doing. Ends, boom, half, boom. Now, do not cut your Brussels sprouts in half like this. I have the scar to show you why you shouldn't. You want to do it the same way that you cut anything else. Claws and like that. If you feel it's rolling, turn it on the flat side and then do it. Do not cut them in half like this. You will one day cut your finger off. Trust me, I've done it 2 to 3 times. It is not worth what feels like a faster method. So, alright, let's just get these done real quick. So I'm gonna roll these out here. We're just gonna. I don't know. Why did I not cut these sooner? This is like the most boring part of cooking. I personally, I love cutting vegetables. Or really anything. I just love. It's pretty exciting. I shouldn't take more than a minute. See, I almost finger off 3 times, or the tip of it. I almost did what I just told you not to do. The habit, honestly. It's a bad habit that I picked up when I was 16. Learned a lesson when I was 16, and then again when I was 20-something. I still do it. Still have the knee-jerk reaction to do it. I'm telling you, I hate cutting myself. I don't know if I'd rather that or a burn. I guess it depends on how bad the burn and how bad the cut. I'd probably take the burn, but then again, it's like, am I working a hot station? Because then I might take the cut. Because a burn on a bad burn when you're working grill, oh my god. It's just like 8 hours of that burn still burning. Like, there's no relieving it. I don't know, they both suck. Don't do either of them. That's what I say. Take your time, slow down. Hang on with it. Hold on. Why did I just leave my video? Oh, one of my cameras went down. I don't know why. Battery's charged. Not only is it battery charged, it's actually plugged into the wall. It must have decided it wanted to reboot or something. You guys still see this? But it's just a frozen picture. That's lovely. You love technology sometimes. What did you just say? It is an old broken. Ooh, yeah, it just keeps shutting down, don't it? Ooh. Plugged in? Oh, it's not plugged in all the way. Let's see if that does it. I thought I'd plugged it all the way in, but it looks like I didn't. What's it called? Error. Alright. I don't know what more I can do here. It's plugged in. There it goes. It's charging a little bit. Come on, you're gonna turn on for me. Okay. Oh, phone. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody wants to see what you have to show us. Just turn on, phone. It's fine. Start the show right now. All right. There's the Brussels sprout. This in the compost. Ba, 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 ba. All right. We're going to let those continue to caramelize. And while that does that, we're going to cook our sausage. We're going to cook the sausage now. So, it's going to take a while to cook, which is fine. And the sausage will do a couple of things. One, it's going to have moisture, which is going to help that caramelize even faster and better. And two, it's going to add a ton of flavor, which I think will be delightful. So, let's cut and open our sausage here. Now, I've never had this sausage before, so I can't speak to it. It's not going to look like Bangers because it's too thin, but again, this is the best I could do, guys. Next to making my own sausage, which I don't have the capabilities of right now, this is the best I can do. So, we are no longer cutting anything on here. Those guys. All right, so let's cut these guys into little links. I'm gonna cut them, I think, that long. Oh, wait, can I twist them off? Nope. They are far too tight for that. Just fine. Oh, hey. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was 2 rounds. It's fine. Go. I guess I cut these a little small, didn't I? Look at this one. One's huge. It's huge. Alright. So we're just going to put them in here. Gonna let these bad guys cook. They're going to take very little time comparatively to the German sausage we did the other day. How small they are. That's fine. Let's clean. Get rid of this. Think we need to cut anything else? No, that's not true. We are going to have to cut something else. So let me wash this here real quick because we don't want raw sausage and whatever it is that we do. All right. But I am going to let them dry over here because we don't need them over there quite yet. Just clean off my board and knife. All right, there we go. Now, okay, so we're going to turn this down nice and low so it doesn't overcook. I've got my lid, and we are going to let this basically, a better term, we're just going to let that continue to cook and caramelize. We're going to cook, probably boil over here if I don't turn this down. Pour a little this out. There we go. So that's going. We got this prepped. We got all the seasonings we need for it. I think, is there anything else I need to do? No, I think that's it. So let's get that on high. We're gonna move this guy actually back over here, over yonder. Oops. That up there. All right. So let's get another saute pan. I really don't want to do 2 saute pans, but it is what it is. So let's get this guy fired up. Got our potatoes. Looks like they just started boiling. Perfect. Perfect. So we're gonna grab our cutting board here. Check to see what we got. It's a lot of onion. There we go. Alright, let's check some of these tires. Some of these tires. Yeah, no, they need like 10 minutes at least. So, why am I using butter? I have bacon fat. So, for the Brussels sprouts, what we're going to do, we're going to use some bacon fat because bacon fat rocks. Usually I would use actual bacon, but there's so much bacon, you know, I should take a break. So instead, we'll just use the fat of bacon. Right? That's good enough. That's kind of like cooking healthy, right? So, all right. So we're gonna get this bacon fat melted. Once the bacon is melted, we are then going to add our onions, which is what we're going to sweat. And by sweat, I mean we're not going to really suck out a lot of the liquid out, kind of become fragrant, things like that. So we're not looking for a super high heat. So what you hear right there is basically what we're looking for. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. We're just going to toss those around. Salt, as always. Obviously, the garlic's in here too. We're just gonna let this cook for a minute or two, and basically until, as people would say, it turns translucent. That's basically what we're looking for. I'm gonna grab our food mill for the potatoes, so that's nice and ready. I mean, I wasn't planning on showing you guys this, but hell, why not? I need to actually strain our yogurt that I haven't strained yet. So I'm going to do that right now because I actually need it for the potatoes because that's how I make my mash. I use my homemade yogurt. So I'm going to just take some cheesecloth, and I want it to be just a little bit bigger than the colander that I use, which is this one right here. I'm just going to cut off. Told you that for sharp. And we're just gonna, we're doing a 1-ply here, or a 2-ply here, I'm sorry. So it looks like that. And then that's what it looks like. I'm gonna go grab our yogurt. In case you're wondering, you don't have to strain yogurt. You can eat it just as it is. So this is our yogurt right here. Oh, you can't see it. Well, here. This is our yogurt right here. You know, I strain it because I like the Greek texture, you know, the more creaminess. I use a fat-free milk, so it is fat-free. I mean, I was going to say it's healthier, but I don't know if that's even proven. But it is fat-free. And yeah. And then to make it nice and thick, all you do is strain it. There's nothing crazy to it. So, see that nice thick yogurt there? Look at that. It's actually already looks pretty good, but there's definitely some whey in there that needs to go away. Might not look at some whey that needs to go away. Get it? Jesus. Alright, so let's just start here. We're just going to let it drain. This does take a couple hours, at least for with what I have. I can't do it all in one batch. I have to do 2 batches of this. So, it's okay though. So that's that. We're going to put this back in the fridge while that strains. Oh, I'm in here. I might as well grab a beer too, right? I've already had 3. So at a certain point, I think I might need to go into a full step program. I'm joking. I don't need that. Let's joke. I'm sorry. Okay, so you see here our onions. You can't see because this camera doesn't work. This is, okay. The onions are where they need to be. You can see it here. They're starting to turn a little see-through, if you would. So we're going to add the Brussels sprouts. And we're going to turn it up. 1, because we just added something cold to it. And 2, because I do want a little bit of color on the Brussels sprouts. And the reason I didn't want to add the color to the onions yet was because by the time I added the Brussels sprouts, the onions would burn. So I really didn't want that. I kind of want them to brown together. So we're just going to let that. I seasoned it, of course, as I do with everything, and I also spilled salt all over the place, in case you missed that part. Hell of a night for me, I'll tell you what. Let's try this. Try closing it, reopening it. See if that works. All right, so we can hear it. I can hear that it's a lot hotter, and that it's starting to brown. In fact, I'm hearing that it's gotten so hot, I probably need to turn it down, which is what I'm going to do. So we had it on high. I turned it down to medium. We can see it's already starting to brown. The Brussels sprouts are browning. Onions are not burning, which is exactly what we wanted. I'm going to really cook the onions before the Brussels sprouts. We could have added them all at the same time, but Brussels sprouts, they still have some bite to them. Like, we want them tender, but we still want them to have a little bit of bite to them. Whereas with the onions, I really want them to not be a factor. Like, I want you to eat it and not really think about the onions. The onions should just add flavor and sweetness and things like that. I don't want a crunchy onion on my Brussels sprout, you know? One of the things I love about Brussels sprouts is that nutty flavor aroma you get when you fry them. There's just something about that. I really do love that. Let's see. Well, that's way hot. I might have fucked those. My bad. All right, so what we're going to do, these onions back here are definitely done. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to add a little bit of thyme. Just like that. I'm going to deglaze with some red wine. Not white wine, red wine. Right. Oh, I forgot to make the roux. Well, that's fine. No, we'll do. We'll let the onions absorb all of this red wine. A little bit of a backwards sauce here. It's fine, though. It's going to be just fine, folks. No need to worry. So there, we've deglazed it all. We're going to let that cook down to aw shit, basically. We're going to go past aw sec. I'm going to let that cook down all the way. All the way until it's just basically, it's onions. This thing shut down again. Sure did, didn't it? Okay, we've got some nice browning. I'm going to turn this on low. And we are going to put the lid on here so that it steams. All right. So here we go. We are at basically aw sec. So before it gets to aw shit, we're going to move to one side. I'm going to grab some butter. 2 tablespoons of butter. Just cut these into little cubes here so they melt nicely. Just like that. I'm going to leave the rest of that butter out because we're going to finish the sauce with butter too, as I do with most of my sauces. But we also need it for the mash. Forgot about that. So yeah, multiple things we need the butter for. So we're going to turn this guy up just a hair. I want these onions out of the way because I don't really want them burning. So I think we're okay with where they're at. But now I could grab some demi-glace because I forgot to get that on my way over. Let's see, I know I have some, but not what I want. Sure I have. Oopsies. Knock something over. knock over? Oh, just a jam. Here's some demi. Okay. And we're back on pace. Got that? Alright, demi-glaze. Now, we're going to grab, we did 2 tablespoons of flour, we need to do about a quarter cup, or 2 tablespoons of butter, we need to do about a quarter cup flour. So it's 1-to-1 by weight, flour to butter for a roux. That's exactly what we're doing here. So, stir that in. In fact, I'm trying to be stingy and not use too many, dishes, but I gotta be honest. I'm worried that if I do that, I'm just gonna I'm gonna screw the whole thing up. So, we're just gonna do this the way that I should, which is by using it. All right, so now this flour needs to cook. I'm just gonna mix it all together because it's fine. At this point, we're fine. It's gonna absorb a little bit of that liquid, which isn't great, but it's okay. So, it's fine. It will live. So we just need to cook this for a couple of minutes. That onion out of there. So you can hear the Brussels sprouts cooking nicely. They need another couple of minutes. Ooh, this is boiling. I'm a little worried about these potatoes being done on time. They seem to be really taking their time. Yeah, they still need another couple minutes. Okay, so I might have botched this gravy here, so we're just gonna finish her up. I'm gonna add my water, and we're just gonna stir in and dissolve that flour into this water, and we're gonna bring it to basically a boil. So yeah, so I kind of messed this up. I think we're gonna be able to save it though. It doesn't smell like anything burnt. Thick, so that's fine. Some water. And just get it to the right consistency here. We're getting there. But it's still pretty thick, so I'm going to add a little bit more water. Alright, now we're going to bring that to a boil. And see what happens. I think it's pretty good. That should be about right. And then we also have to add our demi-glaze to it to obviously make it a stock, which is what we're simulating here. In case you missed half of it. Stir that in all the way. Now it is a gravy, so I do want it thick, you know what I mean? I'm not looking for anything like thin. But at the same time, I also don't want it to be, you know, like plaster. So let's add our demi-glaze. That's probably good there. Spoon off for a tasty taste. Looking pretty good, I have to say. It looks about as thick as I want it. I might thin it out a touch more, but it's looking pretty good. One thing to remember whenever you're making a roux, the longer you cook the roux, the less thickening power it has. So because we barely cooked it, it has a lot of thickening power. So this definitely needs salt. Tastes pretty damn good though, I gotta be honest. Definitely did not burn the onions. They're absolutely perfect. Oh. That's fucking amazing. Oh, we just crushed it. Alright, let me kill the heat on that. I don't want that to cook anymore either, because that's the perfect consistency. Oh man, we nailed it. There I am thinking I screwed everything up. and it is absolutely on point. So let me move this out of the way, because this guy is not on the heat fully, and it's not really boiling. I mean, the potatoes are cooking, but like, it'll be done by next Christmas. One of the things, you know, that would happen when you work a line is your chef or expediter would be like, "Where's the bangers and mash? How long?" And then, you know, a common retort by a line cook would be, "It's coming," which is annoying to the chef because that doesn't tell them what they asked. They asked, "Where is it?" As in, how long? When should I expect it? Who should be firing what to go with it? Do I need to refire the whole ticket? Are you that behind? You know, things like that. Like that's what they're asking for. So when you say it's coming, it kind of pisses chefs off. So what that chef would always say, he would say, "Where's the bangers and mash?" He'd say, "It's coming." He would say, "Well, so is Christmas." And my understanding is that might be a bit of a heard that here in America. But I always thought that was pretty funny. Unless it was like Christmas Eve, and then it just was like, yeah. But like obviously any other day, it was like, "Oh, I get the point. You're being a smartass, and I'm an idiot." Still need like 5 minutes, man. I might. You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? These are done, and I do not want to overcook. So in an effort not to overcook them, we're gonna leave the lid on. The lid over here. I'm more worried about that evaporating too much. And these guys are gonna go right in the warming oven to stay nice and hot. So here we go. Got our potatoes. We're gonna drain them out. We're just gonna use our food mill to do so. Just like that. And then once they're drained, right back in the food mill. And then, yeah, that's basically that. We're gonna spin these in here, nice and gently. I'm not gonna do it on the cutting board though, because it's moving a bit. We're just gonna slowly work these in, trying not to let the potatoes fall off the side. Because always, the beginning is always the hardest part. The potatoes want to come out so bad. Like, we want to come out of this food mill so bad. Can't let them. But once you get it going, see? Once you get them going, though, then it becomes easier. See how they come out? Oh, they just don't want to cooperate. It would taste it. Seasoned beautifully. Or as Ace Ventura would say, beautiful. Oh no, you're not going to do what you always do, are you? This food mill is so old and so shitty that it always pops out of place. And I'm really hoping it doesn't do it tonight. On the birth of Jesus, you mess up. Don't you dare. All right, looks like we're gonna have hopefully a no messed up food mill kind of mashed potato night, which is fantastic. All right, so just got to get all this down into the mill. So all we're doing is we're basically just pushing the potatoes through this thing. We're not mixing them. Like that's, well, I mean, you do end up mixing it a little bit, but not much. And the more you mix potatoes, that's why they become gluey. So you want to try to work them as little as possible. That's the whole key here with making mashed potatoes, or puree, or whipped, or whatever you want to call it. Now, whipped potatoes it's just mashed potatoes. It's the same difference. Some people think this sounds nicer for whatever reason. I guess these technically this isn't even mashed potatoes. This is Pomme de terre puree, or puree de pomme de terre. Is how you would say it. This is how the French would do it. Whereas mashed taters would be if you just took a potato masher and, you know, smashed the shit out of them, and now there you go, done and done. All right, well, there's a little bit more potato in here. If I wasn't feeling impatient, I would figure out how to get it through the food mill, but I don't want to tonight, so we're just gonna say c'est la vie potatoes, and yeah, that's that. So, all right, let me clean this up here real quick. All right. So, with that, we have potato puree. And this is what it'll look like if you've done it correctly. Just like that. It basically looks like riced potatoes, as you might know it. If you've ever heard of a potato ricer, let me put these back in there. That is incredibly hot. And that's the whole idea. So, let's get some yogurt. Let me clean the spoon here. All right. So we're going to take some yogurt. It's not fully strained, but that's fine. So we're going to take about, I don't know, half cup, 3/4 cup, about that much. We're going to take some butter, and this is nowhere near enough butter, just so you know. But we're going to put it in here anyway. And we're going to take about another 2 tablespoons and put that in there as well. Come on. There we go. And like I said, I'm going to start buying that good butter because I was so blown away by it when we made those Eggs Benedict, which unfortunately I had to delete the video of because apparently my microphone wasn't working the entire time. Lovely. But, neither here nor there. I'm definitely buying that butter moving forward. It was so good. It was too... Like, this stuff, I mean, this stuff is white comparison. That other stuff is yellow. Which... Again, I know the quality of butter makes a difference, but I'd forgotten how big of a difference. So, we're going back to the good. In fact, I might even make my own clarified butter. That stuff was so much better than what I've been buying. I think I might go back to it. So, the Kerrygold is basically what we use. I think it was a knockoff brand of that because it was a lot cheaper. But if you can't find good European butter, I think Kerrygold is a good substitute or a good thing. Now, I mean, it is so expensive. It really is. But I'm telling you, it's worth it. Maybe if you're just making a pie, the cheap stuff isn't so bad. But for like cooking, it makes such a difference, man. I'm telling you. All right, so like I said, the potatoes already tasted like they were seasoned well. So I don't think we need to season these anymore. But I'm just slowly folding in the butter and yogurt. I'm really trying not to over stir it. In fact, I'm going to stop stirring it so that way the butter can melt some more. So let's taste the seasoning. Seasoning's perfect. Doesn't need anything. All right. Here we go. Gravy is perfect. I mean, we're just crushing it. With all the mistakes that I've made and technical difficulties, it's turning out pretty good. I got to. Pretty happy with what we've done. One of the things I have to chug this beer because I was not intending on having this beer with us. I want the London Pride. Yeah, I don't want this with it. So. Here we go. I'm not gonna chug it right now. I mean, and I'm just gonna drink it. I'm not in a frickin' frat house. Alright. Oh, look at those Brussels sprouts. They look gorgeous. Hopefully they're not overcooked. Let's see. Perfect. I'm sorry, they do need salt. Need butter. I'm gonna throw a little clarified butter on it. And I'll just give it a nice fattiness. It's kind of missing, to be honest, even though it has bacon fat on it. That's it. Oops. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Get our sausage. Make sure our sauce is hot. It's not super hot, but it'll do. It'll do. It's a gravy, so it can heat up. You know, you can heat them back up with no consequence there. It's not like a butter sauce. All right, the butter's melted, or at least pretty close. Yeah, close enough for us to serve. Just check the taste. Brilliant. I gotta say, I really like yogurt for mashed potatoes. It just adds a really awesome creaminess to it. All right, so let's add our potato there. Okay. Add a veggie. Oh, that's hot. Obviously, it was in an oven. Frickin' Momo. All right. Let's add some Brussels sprouts. This is kind of like a Christmas dinner, right? Almost? No, it's really not. That's fine. Okay. Brussels sprouts. Now, let's get these sausages here. How many do I have? I cut, what, 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay. We'll do 2. This will give us dinner for tomorrow. Which is lovely. That's all we really needed. I don't think we're terribly hungry tonight. So there's that. Alright. Again, I know I said I wanted to like not dirty more dishes, but I can't just dump this sauce on top. I gotta serve it. Pardon me, guys. I'm sorry. What it is. Alright, so that sauce. So oh my god. I wish you guys could see this. There you go. That's bangers and mash with a red onion gravy and sauteed Brussels sprouts. Look at that. Oh my god. How amazing is that one? That's what's up. Simple. Let's give it a taste here. 1 second. Yogurt. Yep, it's draining. All right, let's give her a taste. I want to taste these sausages because I'm really curious. Oh, they're juicy. Just squirted at me. That's very good. Very porky. I mean, I do have to jump. Sorry. Sausage stuck in my throat. Alright, there we go. Now let's get the right beer. All right. We have the right beer now. So, oh no. Okay. Ooh, the gravy's good. Sweet, caramely with that onion, rich from the sauce. Thyme's really nice. Wine adds some nice sour tannins. Beautiful with the beer. Well, it brings the hops out nicely. So will the green, like bitter greens, bring out hops really nicely. Or they can kind of work together to mute the hop bitterness too. So two bitters make a not so bitter, if you would. So when you have something very bitter, if you eat it with something bitter, like one of the reasons IPAs and blue cheese are so good together is because really that funk from the blue cheese is very bitter, unless it's like super tart, and they can do really nicely with it. Oh yeah, it brings out the sweet malt, those white palm fruits and things, like apples and pears, really nicely. All right. I love that. And then also, the fat from the mash and from the sausage will also bring down the bitter beer, bring out the nice malty, toffee undertone. At least that's the idea. Kind of does. Honestly, it kind of mutes the beer in general. So, oh man, it's so good. All right, let me try everything together here. So we got some sausage, some potatoes. Let's get a little bit of this Brussels sprout. Oh, and gravy. Yeah. It doesn't taste like bangers and mash because these aren't bangers, but it does taste like some awesome sausage, some awesome mashed potatoes, great gravy. It's really really nice Brussels sprouts. So, unfortunately, it's not bangers and mash. But if you can find bangers, everything else is perfect. It tastes just like. Well, better than what we made with that fish food gravy. But yeah, this is on point. So, all right, guys, that's it for me. If you tuned in, thank you so much. We'll be streaming Sunday with Sunday brunch. But until then, thank you so much for watching. And you know, that's I guess that's all I have. Thanks again. I'll see you Sunday.